What do you do when it feels like your entire life has been one long rebuilding season? Because in every superhero movie, this part lasts about 2 minutes. The hero gets knocked down, he trains, he rebuilds himself, cue the music, and then he's back. But your montage has been going on for 4 years, maybe five, maybe longer. And that's the difficult part. Nobody talks about how exhausting it is to rebuild yourself for years. Nobody talks about how tiring it is to keep believing things can change when you spend so long feeling stuck. Nobody talks about how hard it is to keep showing up when it feels like you've been in the wilderness forever. Because eventually you start asking, how much longer? When do I get my turn? When does all this finally start making sense? And maybe that's exactly where you are right now. You've been rebuilding yourself for so long that you're starting to wonder if this is all there is. But I think there are a few things you need to remember. I think the first action step is really just keep doing the things you know you should be doing. So if I'm going to take us back to that Thursday evening when I'm driving home and I'm like, man, like everything sucks. I start to wake up the next Friday morning and go to work. And that's all you can do. Right? You find yourself in a position where you feel like you're at rock bottom. You know the fundamentals you should be doing. You've watched all the videos. You know the things you should be doing. You know that right now, even though you can't see what's happening in front, you know what you need to do for the next step, the next day. You know the next step you need to take. Get that sleep schedule locked in. Get that diet locked in. Get that workout routine locked in. Get that work locked in. You're trying to build that thing. Carry on. You want to build a YouTube channel. Go film that video. You want to build a product. Go freaking, I don't know what people do when they're building products, but go do that thing. You know what you need to do. So just carry on going through the motions if that's all you can muster right now, but you've got to keep going because you're at that point where it's stick or twist. You either give up or you transcend, this difficult season you find yourself in. So that's the first step, because when you're finding yourself in a position where life just feels like it's closing in on you, well, it becomes very difficult to focus right in front of you because, oh, what's the point? Everything feels like it's failing. I'm looking at the bigger picture. But that's when you've got to just keep going step by step by step by step, and then the road gets clearer. It's not going to be clear now. But the only way you can find out how the story ends is if you keep going, keep pushing through. Then the other thing I suggested was try something different. Try something, when you watch those videos, and like I'm thinking of the Batman Dark Knight trilogy, when Bruce Wayne decides to go to freaking, I think it was China, but he goes to go be with the monks in the mountain and to just like rebuild himself. It's that kind of thing where you just change your environment, try something, go on some retreat, a sabbatical, go do something different just to kind of take you out of where you're at now. That's something I think I probably need to do something similar actually. But yeah, I'd suggest doing that as well. And then the third part is just kind of what I spoke about just now is this is a privilege. It's a rite of passage that you're in this. And I know it doesn't feel like it, but it only feels like it sucks when you do what I was doing, when I'm looking around, I'm like, man, this guy's married, this person's got this thing going, or they just got engaged, he's got all this money saved up, whatever the case is. It becomes very difficult because now I'm looking around and I'm like, man, everyone else is just kind of here, and I'm like here, like nothing's just working for me at all. But you've got to extend your timeline, right? Just take a look at the bigger picture and be like, all the people that do become great, and I'm not saying, you're going to go become freaking, I don't know, like Napoleon or Shakespeare or whatever. But every person you admire, every person you look at and you're like, man, this person inspires me, whatever the case is. I know for me, like in this difficult season, like I've found a lot of solace in music. As I said, like watching athletes, seeing how they got out of tough times, whatever. Every person that you're looking at for motivation went through that. There was a point where they were behind everyone. It looked like they were behind everyone. And things were tough. And they had to go through a similar season as you, and they got out. And that inspires you. And you can become that person for somebody else. And I think that's important for you to look at it as like, this isn't something that's happening to me that I don't want to happen to me. It's, oh, this is an opportunity. It's a rite of passage to become the man I want to become. You don't need to have your entire life figured out. You just need to keep taking the next step. Keep showing up. Keep trusting. Keep becoming. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the season you hated gave you everything. The discipline, the wisdom, the perspective, faith, strength, the man you became.